So this is a product I've never seen before. I've never opened one up. I have no idea how to get into it. There are no screws. So this was going to be a challenge just to figure out how to open this unit up once you see what it is. It was sent in for repair. I have no idea what's wrong with it. Let's check it out.
Let's see what I had to pay a whole bunch of duties and taxes to bring this thing in because it had a high declared value placed on it. Let's see what I got to repair. Hopefully it's going to be fixable. Got a letter in here. What does it say? Oh, it's a mini disc in there as well. Is it a mini disc machine? It's giving me a couple of new old stock mini discs for when I have a mini disc to work on. Cool. Okay. Well, I'll have to make use of those. Oh, there's 3 of them in here. Excellent. A couple of 80-minute discs. Well, I've never seen those. I've seen the 74s, but I guess we'll have to try that out and actually record a mini disc. What do we have in the box? It says Sony. It's something made by Sony. Is it a mini disc? No, it's not. It's a mobile laser projector. And it looks like it's brand new in the original box. But it's not brand new because it doesn't work. I know that much. Well, for this, let's get the service mat out to work on something a little bit less frustrating than that bloody Crown DC300, which is gouged up my bench due to the big sharp heat sink on the back because there's no feet on it to hold it up off the table. Ruined my bench in several places. That frustration will be worked on again at some future date, but right now I'm done with it for a while. Got to get some parts and see what else is wrong. It's a transistor gone for sure because we checked that in the last video that there's a transistor that was open, but chances are there's other problems with it too because it's a direct coupled amplifier, and when direct coupled amplifiers go boom, they really go boom. They are not that pleasant to work on because you don't know how far the damage is gone. Could be a thin film cap that's gone leaky for that matter, or a resistor that's gone open. But generally when direct coupled amps fail, they fail spectacularly. The last one I had was an NAD that failed. So this unit here will accept HDMI from HDMI devices, MHL from a smartphone or a tablet. Has a 3400 milliamp hour battery, so it's basically a portable PC, and it's going to be a DLP. 1920 by 720 HD resolution, so it's not full 1080. It's 720 apparently, but it's 1980 in one direction instead of 1080. It's 19. Normal 720 is 1280 by 720. This is 1920 by 720. It says what the specifications are. So in other words, it should look better than the little piece of crap one that I've got. So this is the unit here. Comes with an HDMI adapter and some cables and the projector. Let's just see what this thing is doing. It's a class 3R laser. 206 milliwatts of output power, and the laser shines out of there. So let's just turn this thing on first of all and just see whether it even turns on. I don't see any light, but that was not to be expected because I don't know if the battery's charged and the unit has a problem. Let me just plug it into a power adapter, and we'll see whether it will attempt to boot up. I'm going to have to read the manual on this to see how this one works. Let me grab a power cable. I'm melting out here. It's in the shop it's 33 degrees, and the humidity is probably sitting around 95%. It's pretty warm in here today. Alright, I got a USB plug, and my USB adapter is on. If it needs a special USB cable, we'll try this USB cable here. That shouldn't make any difference, but who knows. My power supply certainly has enough power to power it. .9 amps says it's drawing. Now the fellow that sent me this, he said it did turn on, it just didn't boot up. But I don't even see any attempt for it to turn on. I don't see any lights. On the front there's a indicator to indicate that the battery is charging. If I push the button, it says the battery is dead. So I'll plug it back in. It's on charge now. If I push the power button in, you'll see that the other light will blink. But no light, nothing attempts to boot up, and I guess that's his complaint, is that it attempted to boot but doesn't. So let's I'm just going to read through the manual here and just get familiar with the unit itself. Now it does say if the power and charge lamps blink in white and red respectively at the same time, an internal error may have occurred. Well, it's not red, it's kind of a yellow. That's blinking. I love the precautions. It's do not place this product in fire nor heat it in a microwave oven, or oven for that matter. Do not allow this product to get wet with fresh water, seawater, milk, soft drinks, or soap water. Do not use this product while wet. Do not store this product in places of high temperature, such as near fire, under direct sunlight, near a heater, or in a car parked in the sun. Do not use this product in poor ventilation, such as while wrapped in a quilt or blanket or in a bag. Yeah, you're going to use a projector in a bag. Do not apply strong impact. Avoid hitting it with a hammer. I'll remember that one. Avoid putting any heavy object on it, stepping on it, or dropping it. It says, avoid continuous contact between your skin and this product while charging or in use. Doing so may cause low temperature burns. Be careful of heat transmitted through clothes, as it also may cause a low temperature burn. Really? Gets that hot? Now I have no idea how this thing comes apart. There are no screws in the cabinet. There's none that I can see. I don't feel any screws under any of the stickers. So the ends must just come off somehow. They're probably just popped in place with clips, I would think. So I don't know if I can pop this open or not. I think the front pops off like that, and then the unit's got to slide out of here somehow. The back probably pops off too. So the front's off. Let's see if we can get the back plate off as well. Looks like. They definitely do not design these things to come apart, that's for sure. If they put screws in, that would be one thing, but they haven't. They just sandwich this thing together, and it's clipped in with clips all the way around on all sides. You see these clips here? There's clips all the way around on this unit. And this is a solid metal case. The lithium battery is right underneath here. I don't want to, I've tried to get this thing apart without damaging the battery because I don't want this thing to go up in flames on me. So you gotta be really careful. I don't want to stab it with anything, right? So I'm just trying to work my way in here, but this is clipped in place in such a way that it just does not want to open up. And I think the chassis probably slides out, but you've got to remove the base so that you can slide it over so that the controls here. But you see, it's almost like it's attached. It's almost like it's glued to the end of this thing because this does not want to budge. There's no screws that hold it together. So I don't know how to open this thing up. It's something clearly not designed to ever be serviced. There's no question there. This device is designed to never require any service, and if it breaks, you toss it out. That's the way this is designed. It's not designed to come apart. So one little screw here. I wonder if that screw comes out, whether it will come apart any better. Let's just take out this small screw. See whether that will allow anything to move, to slide the chassis out. I doubt it, but it's worth a try. I think there's a clip down the side here that I can maybe catch and pull this out. Oh, there. What's this? Okay, that slides down the side. And then this slides over, and then we can pry the bottom off. Well, that's a lot of work to get to that. As I say, this base is almost like it's permanently attached to the bottom of this stupid thing. And here's the lithium-ion battery. It's in the bottom. We don't want to poke or prod or damage or anyway. Or why they've got that, like a place to put a screwdriver to pop it apart. But at least I'm into this thing now. I don't know what I'm going to be able to do to it, but I'm into it. Cabinet no worse for wear. Actually, it is worse for wear, but let's see if we can perhaps try to clean that up a bit. Take some of the scratches out of it. What a stupid design this thing is. Although I don't know that this thing's going to even be fixable, so it's kind of a lost cause. A lot of these things, there's not a heck of a lot you can do to them. When they break down, they go out and that's it. Another screw here. That has a magnet in it. What I like to do is I like to take this battery out and unplug it. There, that comes off there now. That holds the battery in place. I like to remove the battery just to see if it will reset, because maybe this thing shut down due to a system error. And if I can disconnect the battery, maybe, just maybe, that's what the hope is that if I can disconnect the battery, it might reset. I just gotta figure out how to take the battery out, because it's not designed to come out. Oh, you know what that little hole was? That little hole in there, that was actually the speaker. That's the speaker vent. Like cell phones, the battery is just held in place with tape, like they do with cell phones. And it's soldered down to the board. So let's disconnect the battery and see whether this unit will reset. So I'll just disconnect the positive lead. I'll let it sit for a few minutes. I'll measure that battery voltage while I'm at it. See if the battery's got a full charge on it or not. Well, the battery's at 2.9 volts. That might be part of the problem. It might be that the battery voltage got too low and it got into a shutdown state and just would not recover. I'll just try powering. I don't know if it can be powered up from the adapter by itself, but let's just try plugging in the adapter without the battery connected and see whether the thing will turn on. I got a light. Am I going to get anything out of the engine? I got a power light. Well, that's better than I had before. And then a red and white flashing, indicating an internal failure. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the battery on charge. I'm just going to put it on my power supply. I'll set it down, limit it to maybe what does this thing draw? This is I'll limit it to like 200 milliamps or 100 milliamps, and I'll let it sit in charge for a while at 4 volts? 4.2 volts. We'll put some charge in this battery and just see whether it will come back to life. I think it's a battery related issue. What I could do is just try powering it up with 4.1 volts, and we'll clip the power supply on and just see if it'll boot up without the battery connected at all. It's crude, but it works. Okay, negative.
No, it didn't start. I'm going to put the battery on charge for about 15 minutes, and then we will try it again.
I've got my power limited on here too, so. Okay, I've connected the battery. It appears to be sending out something. It's got a blue screen. Oh, did I get this thing to boot up? Holy crap, I got this thing to boot up. I got a picture. I have a picture. It says, avoid direct eye exposure. Well, it's doing something. Okay, well, that's better than I expected. I did not expect that it was going to actually fire up. And I've got it sort of working. Too bad that the cabinet got a bit buggered up trying to get it apart. But they clearly do not want this unit being taken apart, that's for sure. Let me just plug a signal into this thing and see if it'll actually... see, I just put this battery on charge for a few minutes here, 4.3 volts at 500 milliamps, and just to get some juice into it. And I think what had happened was the battery itself got so weak, it got down to a state where it was discharged to the point where it wouldn't charge, and the microprocessor locked up, because I have a picture on this thing now. Cool. I just got to plug something into it where I can give it a source, plug an HDMI source into it, and get a picture. That's neat. Not very bright, but it's sharp. Looking at it on the wall, I'll point the camera over there and show you guys. Actually, I've killed some lights. As you can see, the battery is in red. It's totally dead, and it will not operate without a battery in it. Incidentally, I tried that. It will not operate if there's no battery in the unit at all. But The menu's working here. I'm going to I haven't got a source on it yet. I'm going to plug an HDMI source into this thing. I just got to dig one up here. It's got a picture. This is working. I'm going to forensic files on off my cable box. I'm going to put the unit back together, and as I say, I got the unit working. Hopefully the blemishes on the cabinet aren't going to be too bad, but again, I didn't know how to get this thing apart. I don't have any manual or anything for it. And you can't get any info on units like this. Anyway, to put it back together, now we know how to take it apart. If somebody else has one of these units and it's locked up like that, you know how to fix it and how to get it apart, more importantly, because it's kind of a unique design. It slides in like this. Press is like a shield of some type, and it goes down like this into the unit, and then the bottom cover snaps in place. It clips in, and that was part of the problem, was getting that apart. And then the unit is slid over, and this piece goes down the side to hold it in place. This was the part that took me a while to figure out how to get this apart. This goes down this side, and it's like a wedge that pushes the unit into place. And you got to make sure that all the controls and stuff are all lined up when you do this, because this is going to push in place all the controls. So that goes together like that, and when it goes together, it's going to push all the controls and connectors into place. Take that off, still pull it into place like that. And the unit's powered up. I must have hit the power button when I was doing that. Oh, power button's stuck in here.
As you can see, putting it back together was just as much fun as it was taking it apart.
Like that. Okay, push that forward. The bottom piece goes on, locks in place. Oh, nope. See, I gotta pull this piece out again because the bottom cover actually has to slide on before I lock that into place. I gotta slide it over like this, put the bottom cover on, and then slide it back. Weird. The way it goes together, well, it goes together about as difficult as it came apart. I pull the bottom off, then I can center them, get them into position, turn that off. The problem is I can't put the base on. When it's like that, it won't snap in place. In order to put the base on, it has to be slid over a bit. Oh, you know what I think I have to do? I think I probably have to hook this and pull this up. Or grab that with a pair of pliers and pull it up. This is the little loop for the hand strap. There, that's better. Pull the buttons into place. That's better. Okay, now that's in place. Push this all the way down. That locks this in. That locks the bottom on, and then the top piece, it snaps in place as well. They don't make these things easy to take apart or put together, so it got a couple of little oops on this cabinet trying to get it apart. I might be able just to work on this and try to clean this up just a little bit. But I've never taken one of these apart before. There's no service data on them whatsoever. I'm sure if you had the service manual, it would tell you exactly what to do, but I don't have a service manual. Service manuals aren't available for something like this anymore. It's kind of a niche product, but it's now back working again. I'll turn it on. The little clip on there, and we can watch some TV on the projector. Booting up. And I press the button here to select my input. Okay, so it's working. Well, there it is back together. Just say it's got a couple little scratches on here. I wish that didn't happen, but unfortunately, just the way this thing was constructed, shit happens, as they say sometimes when you try and take things apart. At least it's working, and to say, other than there's a fact that there's a little scratch on there, we can probably cover that up with some ink with a Sharpie pen. Try to make it so it's not quite as noticeable. And kind of disappears. Unit's functional. When it's sitting on a shelf or being used, you're never going to notice that anyway. You're going to be looking at the picture, and the picture is now working properly. Can't show this for more than a few seconds, obviously. If you've got one of these Sony little mobile projector CL1 and it's not booting up and you're getting the double flash of the lights, in this case it was an amber light and a white light, not a red light. Red and white says it's a internal system problem, but this was an amber light and a white light. Obviously what happened on this is the battery had been sitting and it got into a state of discharge to the point where the microprocessor, I guess, locked up on it, and there's no recovery from that. It won't charge the battery, because when I plugged it in, normally this thing, when it's running, it's drawing, 1.22 amps when it's running. Even if I turn it off and it's charging the battery, okay, it's now off, it's still drawing 1.27 amps. When I first plugged this thing in, it was drawing like 0.1, and it would not go into a charge state because the battery itself had gotten too low and the microprocessor had locked up. So what I did is, as you saw, I took the battery out, I put it on I just connected it for like 5 minutes to my power supply. I had my power supply set for 4.3 volts and I had the current limited. I think I'm just checking to see what I had it limited to. I had it limited to 430 milliamps, just like that. That's why I put a short on it, just to show I got 410 milliamps there anyway. 4.3 volts. I just put the battery on to my clips, let it charge for about 5 minutes. I watched the battery voltage come up, measured the battery voltage. The battery voltage came up to like 3.6. Okay, I'll put it back onto the unit itself. Reconnected it to the board, and immediately went to like 1.2 amps. So I knew it was doing something now. When I tried turning it on, it turned on, the light stayed on, and the unit booted up. So the problem in this case was the battery got down to a point where the battery was just too low and it locked up the microprocessor. I'm sure if this fellows did that, other people that own one of these things, it's going to be doing exactly the same thing. So to get this thing apart, you got to pry the front panel off. That has to come off. You got to slide out that little slit, that little plastic. It's a plastic piece on the opposite side to where the plugs are. Then once that's out, then you can get the base plate off and pull the chassis out, because you got to slide it over so that it clears the ports. So it's kind of once you know how to take it apart, I guess it's not so bad, but it's figuring it out, especially when you've never seen a device before, is what takes the time. But unfortunately, a couple little marks on there, but I'm sure it'll live. I'm sure the guy will be more than happy to get it back functional. Oh, what do you know? It's messing with the rolling shutter. It's a commercial. I can run that, I guess. I won't get trouble for running the promos. Anyway, that's it for this one. We'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching.